Good morning and afternoon, APAC systems sales. If you're joining us from India all the way from New Zealand, we have the entire APAC joining with us today, learning about the systems overview that we have. So we'll be covering various topics today's call, and I will just go to the next slide to introduce our speaker. So our speaker comes live from New York at the moment. His name is Stanley Huang. He's our product manager for the system storage solutions and also the services, primarily looking after the Core Vault product. I do encourage everyone to join the discussion and join the activities as well that we have. We will have a top 10 leaderboard that we'll publish after a few days after the webinar itself. We do have some prizes up for grabs. As always, there's some T's and C's that do apply for certain countries. But I definitely encourage everyone to get involved in the Q&A. To answer your questions today, we have Stanley, our product manager, but we also have William Liu, which you might be familiar with. He's from Singapore. He will be on the text chat as well to answer any text-based related questions. And then finally, this is how we will be conducting the leaderboard itself. So again, I encourage everyone to get involved throughout the entire process of the webinar. First of all, you're all here, so you've already received some 10 points for logging into the platform, so great job. You can also download resources on the right-hand side of your screen. You can participate in the chat, you can ask questions, you can fill in surveys, and also I encourage everyone to submit their poll answers throughout the webinar. This is where you can get your most points throughout. At the end of the webinar, we'll tally up who has the most points and then distribute the gift cards accordingly after the webinar has finished. Before we jump into the slides, I'll just quickly run through today's agenda for you. So we'll be doing a systems product overview covering each individual product of our systems portfolio. We'll be going a little bit deeper into the Core Vault series as well. Stanley will then touch on some storage use cases and how you can sell and integrate these into your own storage environments. And then, of course, our Ask Me Anything Q&A. You don't have to wait until the end of the webinar to put your questions in. I encourage everyone to put their questions in before the Q&A session commences. Without any further ado, I'll introduce Stanley, who will start the webinar. Thank you.
Thanks, Thomas. Okay, so get started with our presentation. So who is Seagate, right? Seagate, we are a storage industry leader, specifically in the HDD SSD realm. In 2022, we generated $11 billion in revenue, and the latest number we have is we've shipped 4 zettabytes of capacity over the lifespan of our company. We have 40 years of experience in the industry, and we partnered with global OEMs as well as top cloud service providers globally. We have over 35,000 employees located across 6 continents, and we have 7 AI-enabled manufacturing sites in 6 countries. Moving on to the next slide. So what do we sell? At Seagate, we've created a very diverse portfolio. You might be familiar with some of these products, from our LaCie consumer product line to our new live mobile and live cloud services and systems, really designed to help bring the customers data from one point to their data center. We also have our Exos product line from our HDDs, as well as our Nitro product line for our SSDs, as well as our Seagate branded systems that ranges from 2U to 4U and 5U platforms. So today, I'm mainly going to focus on our systems portfolio. But if you do have any other questions of our other products, feel free to ask them in the Q&A, and I'll make sure our team gets back to you on it. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. This is what our product portfolio looks like. We have 3 key swim lanes. The first being JBODs, which is our Exos E product line. This is available in a 2U12, 2U24, 5U84, and a 4U106 form factor. These systems are all available with 2 IOM controllers to help really deliver you a redundant enclosure. The next swim lane is our application platform or we call it our Exos AP product line. This is available in our 2U12, 2U24, and 5U84 form factor. The CPU that powers these enclosures is the AMD EPYC CPU. The third swim lane is our intelligent controllers platform. We call this our Exos X as well as Exos Core Vaults. The first three products you see in this swim lane is the 2U12, 2U24, and 5U84. These are our Exos X product line. The 4U106 is our Exos Core Vaults, our highest capacity system. So when we designed this portfolio, we really wanted it to be modular for our customers as well as for our business. First, at Seagate, we design our HDDs and our SSDs. We've designed 4 enclosures to really cover all of our bases. The 4U106 is a 1.2 meter depth enclosure. The 5U84, 2U12, and 2U24 are all 1 meter enclosures. All of our enclosures are 19 inches wide. We also have 4 controllers to power our systems. The first being our core vaults, the second being the hybrid flash array that goes into our Exos X product line, the third being our storage server powered by AMD. This is available in our Exos AP product line, as well as IOMs for our JBOD family. We also have a very robust firmware dating back 10 plus years, right? This is a this firmware stack has a lot of history, right? Dating back to some of the companies we've acquired, such as Dot Hill, Zyratex. So lots of our customers have been pushing the limits of this firmware stacks, and it really is robust. So moving on to the next slide, let me introduce each one of our products individually and get a little bit more in depth about it. The first being our Seagate Exos E. This is a rack mount storage expansion enclosure, right? You can seamlessly connect a 2U form factor with 12 drives of long form factor of 3.5 inch devices, or 24 drives, what we call short form factors, which are 2.5 inch devices. We also have this available in a 4U enclosure with 106 drives slots, or our 5U enclosure with 84 drive slots. The Exos E enables you to scale your infrastructure capacity by up to 336 drives. The key purpose of this enclosure, like I mentioned, is an expansion storage JBOD. It does not provide data protection that will live on the storage server or the server that you have integrated, which then you can define what type of data protection you would like. The capacity is up to 2.65 petabytes per enclosure. The storage interfaces for the 4U106 is 4 ports of the 12 gig SAS. For our 2U and 5U form factors, you get 3 ports on the IOM controller that's 12 gigabytes per second SAS, gigabits per second SAS. In terms of management, we have in-band SES. The controller, we have 2 IOM controllers, and all of our enclosures, the 2U, 5Us, and 4Us, all have hot swappable PSUs as well as hot swappable fans. The count of PSUs is 2 per enclosure and 4 fans for the 4U106, and 2 fans for the 2U12s. In terms of performance, you can expect a maximum bandwidth of 36 gigabytes per second. Okay, moving on to our Seagate Exos X product line. This is an advanced storage array that is petabyte scale, block storage with built-in self-healing technology, as well as advanced data protection. The software values that aggregate the drives to a single enclosure, and you can get up to 336 drives across multiple enclosures. It delivers a value-rich 2U and 5U solutions for applications that require capacity, versatility, performance, as well as low latency. Like I previously mentioned, this is available in 2U12, 2U24, as well as 5U84. The key purpose of this enclosure, it's an advanced storage array. It features our 6th generation Velocity ASIC that we designed. On that ASIC lives our Adapt engine that's erasure coding. But in our Exos X product line, we offer adapt as well as customizations for RAID 5, RAID 6, and RAID 10. The Exos X, you can daisy chain on 4 JBODs behind it to leverage the RAID engine that lives in the Exos X across all 4 JBODs. So you can scale up to 7.4 petabytes of capacity, all protected with our adapt erasure coding. The storage interface is customizable, right? We offer 4. We offer Fiber Channel, iSCSI, 10G base T, as well as SAS. The software values, we have advanced software features such as virtual pool, copy services, auto tiering, encryption, as well as autonomous drive regeneration, or ADR for short. This is our self-healing device capability. The controller is powered by 2 of our 4006 controller with our 6th generation Velocity ASIC. It also features hot swappable PSUs as well as hot swappable fans. For performance, you can expect 12 gigabytes per second read and 10 gigabytes per second write. Okay, I'm going to push a questions for you all. So that answers, that should be okay. The next product family is our Seagate Exos AP. This is our storage server enclosure with storage server on the back end, devices on the front end, to deliver high performance computing and cutting edge storage in a single system. You can expand with multiple enclosures up to 336 devices and support industry standard management tools and computing structures. This is available in 2U12, 2U24, and 5U84. Key purpose, it's an integrated server and storage appliance. The data protection is the user defines the software defined storage. Capacity, like I mentioned, 7.4 petabytes. This is with 4 attached 5U84s. The storage interface is integrated dual 50 gigabit E ports with additional PCIe slots for up to 100 gigabit E or Fiber Channel add-in card. The management that lives on this enclosure is dedicated Ethernet port with Redfish protocol supports. Storage controller, it's powered by 2 of our AMD EPYC-based storage controllers with options to go up to 16 core CPUs per controller. There's 512 gigabytes of DRAM. We also feature dual M.2 boot drives, boot SSDs, as well as redundant hot swappable power supplies and fans. So moving on to our next product line, this is our Seagate Exos Core Vault. This is a petabyte scale rack mounted 4U block storage system that aggregates up to 2 petabytes of storage. Core Vault includes Seagate's innovative self-healing technology, purpose-built for always-on availability for applications that require massive capacity as well as performance and resiliency. The Core Vault is available in 4U106 today, but we have plans to launch the 5U84 in the coming months. The key purpose of this enclosure is it's a mass capacity storage array, and the data is protected with our adapt erasure coding. Living on the controller of Core Vault is also our 6th generation Velocity ASIC that powers this data protection. The Core Vault is available in 1.5 petabytes in our 5U84, as well as our 4U106, as well as 2 petabytes in our 4U106. The storage interface to Core Vault is only available in 12 gigabit SAS. The software value is linear storage target, as well as autonomous drive regeneration. The controller module is 2 Core Vault controllers with our 6th generation Velocity ASIC. It also features redundant hot swappable power supplies and fans. The performance for Core Vault, you can expect 14 gigabytes per second read, as well as 12 gigabytes per second write. So there should be a poll popping up on your bottom right corner or bottom left corner, right? It's which of the following is not a feature of Core Vault and Exos X? I'll give you guys a few seconds to answer that. I'll move on to the next slide and then I'll push the results out to you all. So this next slide is how I just introduced our portfolio to you all. I want to now demonstrate how you can pair our enclosures together and what the benefits are, right? The first column, you have our Seagate optimized solution. This features our Exos AP storage servers paired with a Core Vault. In this example here, it's our Exos AP2U24 and a Core Vault. For your HDD capacity, you can expect up to 2.5 petabytes of HDD capacity with our Core Vault. The 2U24 enables you to have up to 24 SSDs for more of your hot data, while you can put the remaining cold data on the Core Vault. The compute is 2 nodes. The compute has 2 nodes, as well as AMD's 16-core CPU and 512 gigabytes of DRAM. The networking interface is 25 gig, 50 gigs, or 100 gig Ethernet. And the data protection scheme is where it gets really interesting, right? Core Vault is basically a RAID, an RBOD, right? So it has its own layer of erasure coding. Paired with a storage server or another server doing its own erasure coding, you achieve this two-layer of erasure coding, or what we like to call it multi-level erasure coding. This means that if a device fails within the Core Vault, its Core Vault's internal erasure coding is able to rebuild the drive that failed. Device failures is much more common than system failures, right? The second layer really protects for that rare chance that there is a system failure, right? By distributing your data across multiple enclosures, you're spreading it, you're allowing your infrastructure to support system-level failures. So when you do multi-level erasure coding, you get a lot of data durability at probably the most efficiency of your parity bits. The HDD failures, when there is an HDD failure, like I mentioned, your adapt erasure coding kicks in to rebuild the data. But Core Vault also features our autonomous drive regeneration, or ADR. This enables the device to be potentially regenerated within the box, so that you don't have to hire an IT support. You don't have to have IT administrators come in to swap out devices. The latest article I read, a typical average hard drive replacement in a data center is about $1,000. So Core Vault really gives you a chance to save that cost by regenerating that drive. The second swim lane is our portfolio pairs very well with third-party enclosures as well. So in this second example, we have a third-party compute paired with a Core Vault. What you get out of this, like I mentioned, you get 2.5 petabytes of capacity. The SSD count is flexible depending on the compute you use. The compute is also flexible, as well as the networking. You also get the same benefits of the multi-level erasure coding because you get your first layer already within Core Vault. HDD failures is also protected with self-healing capabilities such as ADR, which also helps eliminate the network impact. I didn't cover this for the first swim lane, but I'll cover it now. What we mean by no network impact is if you have a solution with compute and Core Vault, and you have multiple nodes of these. If a device fails, it is not impacting your network. The rebuild is happening within the Core Vault automatically. So this helps free up your compute resources that would have otherwise been used to rebuild the device that failed. In my third example, when I explain what a network-based repair looks like, I think that should help cover the bases. And if not, feel free to ask me some questions. So our third option is our Seagate Exos AP5U84. This is available up to 1.8 petabytes of capacity. SSD count is flexible. You can always string on a 2U24 JBOD behind it to get that SSD SSD storage. The compute is 2 nodes powered by our AMD 16-core CPUs, as well as 512 gigabytes of DRAM. This is available in 25 gig, 50 gig, as well as 100 gig Ethernet. The data protection here is only a single level erasure coding. because there is no hardware-based RAID that lives within the enclosure. All the data protection has to happen at the host. So what happens when a hard drive fails within this box? As you can imagine, if a device fails within your box, your host has to go free up some of its resources to calculate the data that is lost in the device and rebuild it. So a single level EC means that you have network-based repairs, while a multi-level erasure coding scheme means that there's minimal to no network impacts when a device fails. Okay. So for our next poll question, which of the following is not a feature of Corvault and Exos X have in common? Give you guys a few seconds to answer this one. Okay. So we have another poll question as well. So which products are attachable for our Exos AP for expanded storage? We have our Exos E, Exos X, Exos Corvault, or D, all of the above. And I'll push the result in a second. Okay. So what are some storage use cases that we see with our customers? In the enterprise cloud market, some of the use cases are backup and disaster recovery. Whether you're a small business or you're an enterprise, we have a product and a solution for you. For our small business customers, we recommend them the Exos X 2U12. This has our 6th generation Velocity ASIC for your adapt data protection, paired with Veeam or Commvault. For our enterprise customers, we recommend them our bigger enclosures, right? You get better dollar per terabyte value out of it. And that's our Exos X 5U84 or our Exos Corvault. For our cloud hybrid and private cloud market, we believe the Exos E4U106 JBOD or our Corvault is the perfect solution for you. Paired with Red Hat, MinIO, as well as Ceph. So covering VDI, right, which the solution type is virtualized building block, we recommend our Exos X 5U84, paired with VM as well as Microsoft Hyper-V. In our M&E space, for digital content workflow, there's 2 products we recommend depending on what your use case is. First is a value flash array for content editing and managing. So these are your hot data. We recommend our Nitro X 2U24. The Nitro X, this might be this is a rebrand here, but this is our Exos X with our Nitro SSD, which is hence why we call it the Nitro X 2U24. We've partnered with Pixit Media as well as ZFS to build you a solution. We have some published on our website. For your tier 2 storage in the M&E space to support content editing and content repository, we recommend our denser enclosures. This is our Exos X 5U84 as well as our Corvault, paired with Pixit Media as well as ZFS. For our video surveillance customers with less than 500 cameras, we recommend our smaller enclosures, which is our 2U12 or our 2U24. For our high capacity surveillance for customers that have 500 plus up to 1,000 cameras, we recommend that they buy a denser enclosure to really maximize their TCO value. This is our 5U84 Exos product, Exos X product, as well as our Exos Corvault. For our HPC customers, high performance computing, as well as blockchain customers, we recommend our Corvault and our Exos EJBot 4U106 for high capacity repository for your big data, right? Customers that are doing big data analytics in AI or machine learning tend to purchase these bigger enclosures. Specifically for our HPC, high performance computing data store for we recommend our JBOD, right? So this is paired with our IOM controller, available on our 4U106 platform. As well as for blockchain crypto mining, right? This is the Web3 space. We recommend either our Exos E 4U106 paired with Filecoin or ZFS, or our Core Vaults to really help bring the value of our devices. So with that being said, let me push the previous question, previous answer out. So the previous question was, which products are attached to our Exos AP for expanded storage? The right answer is all of the above, right? You can pair our Exos E, Exos X, or our Exos Core Vault, all to our Exos AP for expanded storage. I guess everyone was right here. So now I'll hand it off to Thomas to talk a little bit about where you can buy all the systems that I just mentioned.
Thank you, Stanley. Appreciate it. So I did see some questions come in through the chat. I do encourage you to keep them coming. One of the questions was actually, where do I buy one of these systems, and who is the distributor of these systems within respective countries? If you want to have a look at the screen here, you can see that we have Singapore, Taiwan, South Korea, India, Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, the ANZ region, and of course Indonesia, all of which you can purchase systems through these individual companies, or you can go to Seagate.com and then submit your request through there, the Talk to an Expert page, as we call it. So you can submit it that way as well. Hopefully that answers that question. Now, I will just push out the next question. So I invite everyone to submit who is your preferred systems provider, integrator, if you are an end user. Next part of the webinar, we'll be going through the Q&A session. So as mentioned, we have Stanley and we also have William on the chat line as well. William's busy away, typing away at some answers and some to your questions so far. And now we'll get into the speaking session of the questions and answers. So keep them coming through on the chat. I will read them out to you, Stanley, as we progress. So the first one came from India, and it was, what are the workloads on these storage server controllers? What types of software can I run?
That's a good question. So all the software you can run that we partnered with and built solutions briefs, I previously mentioned. Maybe I can flash that slide up as I answer this. Right, these are a lot of our software ISV vendors that we have. This covers, like as you can see here, a wide spectrum of use cases. So let me see if I can pull up that question as well to make sure. Did I cover that question, Thomas? Or
yeah, okay. I think so. Yeah, definitely. So out of the next question is, out of the 4 systems that we have available to us at the moment, which ones can be populated with both SSD and hard drive to create a hybrid solution?
Okay, that's a good question. So our Exos E is available. Okay, let me pull up this slide as well too, so you don't lose me here. Okay, so our JBOD Exos E product line, SSD is HDD and SSD is compatible in our 2U12 and our 5U84. Our 2U24 is also available in HDD and SSDs, however, in short form factor, meaning they have to be 2.5 inches devices. Our 4U106 supports 3.5 inch HDDs as well as 2.5 inch SSDs. Our AP platform, all 3 of those boxes support both HDDs and SSDs. But the 2U24 is the exception, right? They have to be the small form factor devices. Our intelligent controller swim lane, the Exos X, the first 3 support both HDDs and SSDs. We call this our hybrid flash array. However, Core Vault is the only exclusion here. Core Vault is only available with 3.5 inch HDDs. Hopefully that answered that question.
Yeah, thanks, Stanley. An interesting question that came through was, the 5U84 looks like an identical model to some of your competitors. Do you manufacture the systems?
Yes, we do. We have a few OEMs that take our 5U84 product and rebrand it. They leverage the same firmware stack that we do. Yes, so that's why it looks very similar to a lot of the other products out there.
Thanks, Stanley. Next question came from Kevin, and that is, can XOS storage with legacy 4005 controller be able to upgrade storage to replace the 4006 controller in the same chassis? So can you swap out the controllers from a legacy controller?
This is okay. So this question refers to our XOS X product line. Yes. So recently we launched our 4006 controller. Its predecessor is a 4005. The question is was it backwards compatible? I might have to see if William Liu on the line, our sales engineer, can help answer that. I think yes, but I'll have William Liu put in all chat out there to help answer that question.
Thanks, Stanley. Next question is, what Seagate hard drive is supported by the ADR technology? Or what is the recommended hard drive to use in ADR?
That's a good question. Okay, so just a quick reminder, ADR is available in our XOS X product line across 3 chassis, the 2U12, 2U24, 584. ADR is also supported in Core Vault. The drives that you would need to support this feature is all of our XOS 18 terabytes and up devices. So this is XOS 18 terabyte, XOS 20 terabyte, as well as XOS 22 terabytes. All future HDDs in the high capacity points will all support ADR as well.
Okay, Stanley, the next question is just to touch on the self-healing technology, that ADR. Can you just summarize it quickly again for those who might have missed it?
Okay, yes, absolutely. So self-healing is not ADR. It's not just adapt. Self-healing is really when you combine the two together. What I mean by that is if a device fails, right, 2 things happen. One, you have hardware in your box that doesn't work anymore. And 2, you have data that was lost that lived on that device. So when that happens, Adapt is able to rebuild the data that was on that device and basically heal the data. ADR is more on the hardware side of things. ADR is able to read the device's logs, right, and determine if this device failure type is compatible with ADR as one of its triggers. If it is, it electronically depops that area and regenerates the drive. Maybe I could dive in a little bit more on that. Modern day HDDs, so the 18s, 20s, 22s, all have 10 disks in the device. That means that there's 20 surfaces and 20 read-write heads. Any one of these surfaces could have contamination or the read-write head could go bad. And if this happens, and Core Vault is able to read its log and determine that this trigger is supported with ADR, it electronically depops that surface or that read-write head and regenerates the drive. This means that a 20 surface device, when you remove one, you're left with 19. So you're able to regenerate 95% of its original capacity. So for a 20 terabyte device, 95% means that you get 19 terabytes back.
Okay, thanks, Ellie. Question from Jim. Is there any software bundled with any of these systems?
Yes, we recently did a promotion in our channel where we bundled our Core Vault with OS Nexus, one of our scale out file system partners, right, to create solutions briefs as well as create a promotion bundle for you. We have others as well, so I think the best way for me to answer this is to reach out to your Seagate sales rep, and they can walk you through any of the promotions we have with our partners.
Yep. And next question is, will the Core Vault or the 4U106 fit in my 1 meter depth rack? So Core Vault and our 4U106 will not fit in 1 meter. You'll have 0.2 meters sticking out the back end, so we don't recommend that whatsoever.
Yes, but our 2U12, 2U24, 5U84 are all 1 meter depth chassis, so those should all be able to fit. I know the APAC region, we have a lot more customer base that uses the 1 meter rack style. So that's also why we're launching a 1 meter core vault and a 5U84 form factor in the coming months, so that we can bring you core vault's value props in the 1 meter racks.
Yeah, thanks, Ellie. I do see a few questions coming in from the chat regarding the support structure. Every country has individual support structures, so we will reply to them separately as they come through. Stanley, next question is about the general warranty of the products. Is there a standard warranty across the range of products?
Yes, all of our products offer a standard 5-year warranty with options to buy additional support. Right, you need maybe next business day. We have options for higher tier support.
And the last question, unless any more come through, is what is currently the highest capacity available in the market?
That's a great question. Highest capacity, both claimed by Seagate and our competitor, is probably the 26 terabyte SMR drives, right? We offer that in our 4U106 form factor, which yields you a 2.65 petabytes of capacity. When it comes down to traditional PMR drives, the highest capacity is 22, but Core Vault later this year is planning on launching at 2.5 petabytes, and that will feature traditional CMR drives, 26 terabytes and up. So keep an eye out for that, because we should be doing some marketing and press around that product.
Thanks, Stanley. I will answer a question that came in from the chat from the Singapore team. And William has already answered this, but is erasure coding only on one chassis, or is it across a cluster? And it actually is across all the chassis once cascading. So Stanley, if you wanted to elaborate on that.
Yeah, dude, so for our Exos X product lines, if you attach JBODs behind it, the erasure coding is available on all on both the Exos X and the JBODs that are attached. Core Vault does not support this feature, right? Erasure coding only lives within its own enclosure, right? You can't string on JBODs.
And the next question is, does ADAPT support mixed capacity drives? Oh, sorry, does it support mixed capacity drives? If yes, does it have a minimum capacity required?
Hold on. Okay, ADAPT, yes. One of the key benefits of ADAPT is it supports mixed or variable capacity HDDs. The second part of that question was, is there a minimum capacity for your devices? To my knowledge, there is not. However, I do want to caution our customers that actually, no, I take that back. For our Exos X product line, there is no minimum capacity, no maximum capacity, right? How you set up your ADAPT pool will really determine what the capacity ranges should be. Typically, within each ADAPT pool, your capacity should not be more than, say, maybe 2 terabytes for the 20 terabytes, so 10%. So it should be within 10% per ADAPT pool. But with our Exos X, you can configure it however you like with SSDs or HDDs. Since it's virtual pools, right, there is no limitations. However, for Core Vault, what we found with linear pools is there is a limitation to what type of, how far your spread is with mixed and variable capacity devices. I hope that answers.
Okay, so Stanley, just to follow up on that question as a part 2, can you half populate one of our systems, and which systems can be part populated and to grow as well?
Mm-hmm. Yes. So all of our product, no, Exos E, our JBODs, it's just a JBot, right? So you can populate it as you need. Our Exos AP also shares a similar case where you can continue expanding as you need, because behind the Exos AP is basically a storage server and a JBot. Our Exos X also shares similar details, right? You can expand it as you need. However, the only thing that isn't like that is our Exos Core Vault, right? Core Vault is really designed for you to populate the entire enclosure.
Thanks, Stanley. Another question came through on the chat. It's about the lead time of orders. The question was, what is the lead time on a general product order? I can actually touch on this. And because Seagate are the OEM of a lot of these systems, we get the priority of our systems when they go out to the market. And the regular lead time is about 4 to 6 weeks, but often faster than this as well, depending on the configuration. And I guess the final question that we have William is actually answering at the moment, but what media application is best for, what hard drive is best for the media application with these systems?
Media, so for this, media application, meaning media and entertainment, what is the preferred HDD to be used? It depends on, I guess, your use cases, right? So if I reiterate back to one of our, the M&E section on this slide, if you need hot storage, right, we recommend you go with our SSD offerings in our 2U24. However, since you asked with HDDs, I'm thinking that this is more for your tier 2 repository side. Then I would recommend our 5U84 or Core Vault with our 18 terabytes and up. The reason why is, the higher capacity you go, the more denser the enclosure, your dollar per terabyte goes down, right? So this really helps save you money, as well as help future-proof your solution.
Great. Thank you, Stanley. And that does conclude our webinar for today. So I do thank everyone for joining on the chat, for asking a very engaging Q&A session. Like I mentioned at the beginning, we will be giving away some prizes for certain engagements throughout the webinar as well, and we'll be in touch in the next few days or so for you. Again, I'd like to thank our guest, Stanley from Seagate in New York, for presenting today, and also William on the chat. Have a great day, everyone, and if you have any questions, please don't be shy to contact us. We can continue to answer your questions. Thank you.
Thanks all. Have a great day.